Early morning on December 7, 1941, 183 aircraft, including Type 97 main force carrier attack bombers, took off for Pearl Harbor from the aircraft carriers of the Combined Fleet commanded by Vice Admiral Chuichi Nagumo. Tora Tora is a code. It means the surprise attack has been accomplished. It was the first surprise attack that had been staged by aircraft, and it marked the start of the Pacific War.
The Pacific War, which started with Pearl Harbor, completely changed the tactics of naval battle. After the attack, main weapons were changed from battleships to aircraft. As the Battle of Tsushima symbolized, former naval battles were always carried out by fleets with centrally located battleships that formed the main weapon. Everyone thought guns were the most important factor in determining victors. So all navies in the world competed with one another in building larger battleships with bigger guns. It was a time when all naval leaders around the world wanted to have strong battleships. Combined Fleet Commander Isoroku Yamamoto was the first admiral who doubted that traditional belief. Yamamoto worked out a plan of operation for aircraft, which had previously been considered auxiliary to battleships. And that was the plan used in the attack on Pearl Harbor. The result shocked the U.S. and naval leaders around the world. Aircraft, an auxiliary weapon, had sunk the enormous battleships. Yamamoto overthrew the traditional idea of fleets battling with big battleships. This distinguished admiral was the commander-in-chief of the Imperial Japanese Navy's Combined Fleet. But the fleet ended up in ruins. Why did the Combined Fleet fall into ruin?
The Combined Fleet was formed from the Imperial Japanese Navy on July 19, 1894. Fleets operated separately at that time. To prepare for emergencies, they needed to be under a single chain of command to streamline operations. In the Sino-Japanese War, the Combined Fleet defeated the Chinese fleet, which had been considered the top naval power in Asia. 10 years later, it defeated the Lushan fleet, and also the unbeatable Baltic Fleet in the Russo-Japanese War. After the triumph of these two battles, Japan, which was just a small island in the east, became known as a notable naval power in the world. Togo, who commanded in the Battle of Tsushima, was considered a god of war.
Togo commanded on the Mikasa battleship here in the Battle of Tsushima. Admiral Togo led
September 1941. Naval intelligence in Tokyo sends a message to secret agent Yoshikawa, living in Pearl Harbor.
Strictly secret. From now on, we would like to have you make reports concerning vessels. With
It was going to be a boring morning because all Sunday morning watches were simply boring.
This announcer came on almost hysterical, you know. This is for real, the bombs are falling, the Japanese are attacking Pearl Harbor, this is not a practice.
To tell you the truth, I felt courageous. I was very honored to be chosen as one of the first to strike the opening blow.
I was walking across the campus with a friend of mine, and somebody yelled across at us, and it just made a profound impact at that very moment.
The planes came in close and just wreaked havoc on the ships in the harbor. You could actually see the pilots. They came so close.
All of those young men who were blown off or knocked off in some way from the Arizona and the other ships were swimming through water on fire.
We had to cancel our comedy show and had to quickly put a serious thing on, talking to the troops and everything, wishing them well, and God bless them and everything.
I can never forget that memory. I don't know how many people I killed with the torpedo I fired.
I said something that I would have never thought of saying. I looked up there and I said, "You goddamn Japs."
I felt as if the scrolls of history were speeding out of control.
My life changed from a 19-year-old kid to a 19-year-old man in a matter of hours.
Their memories are 50 years old, but recalled as if Pearl Harbor were attacked maybe yesterday. But why? Why do we still remember it, and why do we still care about it? For those who remember it, December 7th, 1941 was a date so burned into our minds that we will always remember where we were and what we were doing when we heard about it. For those too young to remember, it helped create the world we now live in, whether we remember it or not, or realize it or not. It was the end of one world and the beginning of another. Here, ABC News and NHK Television of Japan have joined together to produce the following program. We have both assembled an extraordinary collection of film and photographs from the archives in both countries, libraries, collectors, and interviews with survivors from both sides. Those who dropped the bombs on Pearl Harbor and those the bombs were dropped on tell us now how it was at the time. Some in Japan and America talk about their experiences for the first time. And as far as possible, we will try to recreate that Sunday morning 50 years ago, a morning that changed the world forever.
December 7th, 1941. The turmoil of World War II enters its 27th month. Japanese troops storm Shanghai. German armies stand at the gates of Moscow, leaving 6.5 million casualties in their wake. Nazi Germany has mainland Europe in its grip. Under siege, Britain hangs on by a thread. 3,000 miles away, the United States remains at peace. 76% of her citizens support neutrality. At 7:55 a.m., the peace is shattered. 360 Japanese warplanes descend on Pearl Harbor. World War II has come to America. This is America's war as never seen before. From the unique vantage point of space. Witness the key battles unfold and the military strategies behind them in stunning detail. Revealed are the political alliances, the global battle for resources, and the astounding awakening of American military and manufacturing might that will determine the outcome of the greatest conflict ever fought. The unprovoked Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor will send shockwaves across the globe, but America has feared a strike for months. Since 1931, Japan's imperial ambitions have grown bolder and bolder. First, Manchuria is invaded, then China itself. When France falls to Nazi Germany in 1940, Japan seizes control of French Indochina. The U.S. response is rapid. Japan's financial assets are frozen and an oil embargo is imposed. The message is clear. Withdraw from Indochina or be economically crushed.
After the embargo, Japan was faced with two choices. Stop territorial expansion, give in to the demands of the Allies, or go to war.
Japan chooses war. In the words of Prime Minister Tojo, it is either glory or decline. It is imperative that they make the first decisive strike.
The Japanese knew they were never going to go toe-to-toe with the United States in a long naval war in the Pacific. They knew they didn't have the economic might, the military might, but it was a calculation that they could administer a knockout blow to the capital ships of the U.S. Pacific Fleet.
If you could destroy the Pacific Fleet, the ability of the Americans to respond to anything for many months would be taken away. So the strike at Pearl Harbor was not just a strike at a symbol of American power, it was American power in the Pacific.
What American intelligence cannot see is revealed from space. Admiral Yamamoto's fleet departs Japan on the longest assault in history. Avoiding shipping lanes and landmass, they arrive unseen 275 miles from their target. It's the perfect vantage point, beyond